Peace, family, to everybody in the building. Thank y'all for rolling through. Let me shout out to Girl Down the Street. Shout out to Speaking of Lovely. Shout out to Donna Flame Brain Vlogs. Hello, everybody. Thank y'all for coming. Let me just say, when BB Nice did the interview, she did an exceptional job. Shout out to D Cop for Life More in the building. Dava Smith, I hope I pronounced that correctly, in the building. Hello. BB Nice did an exceptional job when she interviewed me. However, interview question. However, I was just gonna come on here and go raw, but she was like, let me, interview. So, I allowed her to, but in the back of my head, I sort of felt like I wasn't gonna be able to get everything out. And so I did not really get everything out, that I needed to say. However, and I've been doing temperature checks and stuff, or I just been noticing things on the YouTube streets. And it's like some of the things that I said, people took the wrong way. So here I am coming to you again, just to, clarify, like what I was saying and why I was saying a lot of things. Also, some people ask, what's this thing with me and Wiley? So I'm there. Okay. Because someone started the incorrect rumor that, it was a jealousy thing about VS, with me and Wiley and VS. No, that's absolutely incorrect. In fact, let me go ahead and go down my bullet points so I can stay on point. What a lot of people don't know is that I encountered, I think it was Armand Wiggins first. So I started watching his live streams. And all of a sudden, the Wiley show started coming up into my analytics. Okay, so for a long time, I ignored him because I was like, because, he used to come on. When he first started coming on, he had about 30 people in his chat. And he used to come on all day, pretty much, and all night. People were teasing him about how he'd be pretty much on all day and all night, 8 hours straight and stuff. So, like one day, one night, it was nothing else on. I was just like, let me see what this dude be talking about. So I went in there, and when I went in there, he was having a pretty decent little conversation. So, I hung around. So, I was among one of Wiley's first supporters. At that time, my name was Quigwaltam Indian. That's what the QI stands for. It stands for Quigwaltam Indian. But I changed it because I found that a lot of people couldn't pronounce it. But I was one of Wiley's, I was one of the initial supporters of Wiley. When there was hardly anybody in there, and this was even before TSCC came there, and it was even before I knew anything, or I had ever gone to TSCC's chat. I'll put it that way. Okay, so I didn't even know the situation between Armand and Wiley at the time when I went into Wiley's chat, because I would hear Armand say, be original, and he was talking about this guy. This guy harassing him, this guy, making things bad for him or whatever. So I didn't even, although I was in Wiley's chat, I did not know that Armand was talking about Wiley, because keep in mind, I didn't know nothing about this sector, the backstories, anything like that. Okay, so one day I went into Armand's chat and I was blocked or whatever. Okay. And then I found out that Armand blocked anybody that he saw in that, he saw that was going into Wiley's chat. I didn't know about their, beef or anything like that. And at that time, I wasn't at this type of, in other sectors they have beef, but in other sectors, it's not like a limit. You can go in anybody's chat and nobody really trips about that. Nobody trips about whose chat they see you in, or you going into anybody else's chat or anything, all the other sectors or whatever that, I've been in. Nobody does that. Okay, so excuse me, allergies. But so anyways, after I found out that Armand was talking about Wiley, I started looking into the situation a little bit to see, what had happened. Because Wiley was over here saying it was Armand's, fault. And Armand really wasn't calling any names, and he wasn't really going into too much depth about what had happened. So, I pulled up a video where where Wiley was the co-host for Armand. And Wiley completely sabotaged that it wasn't an interview. He was co-hosting that live stream. Wiley was pouring water on his head. He was putting gobs of Vaseline on his lips. He was putting towels on his head. He was, and then, like when Armand was trying to get him to chime in because they were talking about some female rapper, Wiley went all the way off, calling the lady whore. That whore, that brown, she's a bottom. She's a mom. He was going crazy. So when I saw that, I was like, wow. I said, so Wiley really caused this. So anyways, by the time I get back over to Wiley's, back in Wiley's chat, I'm already knowing that Wiley, is the cause of the situation. And let me tell you also, even after Armand let him go through the whole interview, and then even or the whole live stream, and then Armand opened up the call lines. And I think this is where they started talking about Wiley's eyes, and the eye emblems and stuff started floating up because they were calling in. They would say, they were talking seriously, like, Armand, you need to get this dude off of here. You do good. You don't need this dude. And Wiley would just go off and cuss them out and all kinds of stuff. It was a mess. All right. So, I go back, to Wiley's chat or whatever. And then we realized that, Wiley started talking about the fact that he has a mental illness. Now, I wear several hats in the mental health community. I'm not a therapist and I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am trained to do a lot of things. Like I'm a group facilitator. I'm a national trainer. I do one-on-one peer groups. I do peer therapy. It's like sort of like peer therapy. I don't know how to support. I do one-on-one peer support. I do a lot of different things. I wear a lot of different hats. I've been trained I'm a crisis intervention person. And what that means is like just like even here online or anything, if anybody's ever in crisis, please reach out. I've been trained. I'm trained to, de-escalate mental health episodes and situations when they happen. So, anyways, by the time I get back, so I advocate for mental health and, just like I advocate for against child sexual abuse. And that goes into my job as well. I push that because I'm a victim. I push that. And I'm even trying to get them to get more programs and more individual therapy types of sessions, because a lot of times, a lot of the group therapies and stuff like that, a lot of victims don't feel comfortable as well. I also advocate against domestic violence. So, like I came in this sector, I came on YouTube advocating for that. Wherever you see Black Conscious Fraud Committee, BCFC, or, QI critical thinking, even when I was over there, as well as women's rights, even when I was over there, with TSCC, or when I've called into Wiley's or wherever, it's always the same. I'm advocating for them things. I'm passionate about those things because those things mean a lot to me. Okay, so back to, the subject at hand. So I went back and Wiley was talking about mental health and, the fact that he had a mental health, a mental illness, and, that he was getting help for it. And, and so, I was like, okay, he doesn't seem as bad as he do on that video. And I said, it seems like the, brother is trying to get some help or he's trying to change. So I supported him. In fact, I used to call into Wiley shows. If you go back to a lot of his earlier videos, and if he wants to be honest enough to tell you, and this is even before TSCC people, like Wiley was one of the probably amongst one of the first people in this sector that I actually supported. Okay, so let's get that straight first. Okay, so I used to call into his shows. I called in like when Devolving Culture called in plenty of times. I mean, I called in when what's that when Jedediah Brown called in. I called in when plenty of times. I used to call in, chime in, get the conversation rolling, and things of that nature. So at any rate, at any rate, I was a supporter of Wiley's. Okay. Now, one thing I did notice during that time is that, Wiley likes to, it's like I noticed that he was one of them people, and I had been through that before. So, but I ain't gonna talk about that right now. But anyways, I was even a moderator, if most of y'all remember, in Wiley's chat. Okay, I was a moderator in Wiley's chat. Okay, now Wiley told the story that the reason why we're beefing, or the reason why and I hate to use that word beefing, but the reason why like I'm upset with him is because he took the moderator wrench. Not true, because when I saw Wiley take a turn, and what I mean take a turn is this was doing like the Beverly, Miss Beverly situation, the Phi Babe situation, and when he had that website and was posting all that ridiculous stuff on the website. I stopped going into his chat then. Now, VS and I had been having a discussion. We had even been having arguments and stuff like that. And I was telling her that I didn't like the things that he was doing. I even still, in the midst of it, tried to help him with a lot of things. Just like, I don't know if y'all remember when he got up there and, he was on live and he was talking about the one-way and the two-way calls. I was the one. In fact, I had sent that. I was working on graphics for Lady Nika, and I sent it first to Lady Nika, and then I turned around and I sent it to Wiley, and Wiley read it online or whatever. Okay, like with the Phi Babe situation, I went to VS and I said, VS, please tell Wiley that is against. It's illegal or against the law what he's doing in terms of Phi Babe's picture. So I tried to help him. And not just that, a lot of times if you might go back into those chats and stuff, you'll see where if he used to respect me and he used to listen to me, and he used to listen to me. So we haven't always had this tension in terms of a relationship. It used to be almost like a big sister, little brother type of relationship that Wiley and I had. Because, I used to, if I saw him go off track, I used to ask him, have you taken your medicine? During live, I'll type, have you taken your medicine? A lot of different things. So I used to look out for him. I've even defended him, like in other people's chats when other people were, jumping on him. I've even defended Wiley. Okay. So let's get that straight first. But after, I saw the switch in his behavior and he started doing inappropriate things that I could no longer support. And like I said, I started seeing where it was almost like he was setting VS up, because just like, for instance, with the Miss Beverly situation, when Miss Beverly called the cops and VS was the one that called the police officers and they, gave them her name. Okay. Just like the church incident with his uncle, and when his uncle cussed VS out, and Wiley cuts VS out. And so a lot of people used to think, and I used to see a lot of people saying or thinking that VS was doing it with Wiley, or VS was behind it, or VS was pushing Wiley to do it, when it was absolutely, I knew for a fact that it wasn't that. Wiley was doing these things on his own. On his own. Okay. And so when he started doing that, I stopped. TSCC was still over there. VS was still over there. I stopped supporting because, I stopped supporting. I stopped going in the chats. I didn't want to be associated with that. Okay. So that's, so that's where it took a turn. So but even still, it was no combativeness or anything like that in terms of Wiley, the one-on-one or anything like that with Wiley. Pretty much it was just like, okay, I tolerated him. Just like when I already knew Because let me tell you something. If y'all go back and y'all listen to Wiley's lives, or even if you listen to Wiley now, a lot of times Wiley admits and he says the things that he's doing, and he says it out his mouth, and it's some dirty stuff. He says it. He says, that, he'll tell you in so many different ways. Then he might come back and turn it around next week. Then he'll come back and turn it around today. But so many of the things he has admitted on those live streams, whether he knows it or not, whether he knows it or not. So I'm a critical thinker. I'm a critical listener. So, like I was critically, like I critically listened. Just like one of the things that I did not like was, during the time when Rico was there, I didn't like the fact that that Wiley was allowing Rico to disrespect VS. I mean, I don't care if it was at odds or whatever. It's just like you just tell, it's like, if that's your friend, you don't allow your friend, especially being a woman, to be disrespected. You like either hang up or you get an understanding with Rico or something. Because even like at that time, I wasn't really agreeing with Wiley either, but I wasn't openly disrespecting him either. And then, like out of like, because I'm really not that, type of person. I'd rather call you behind the scenes. I'd rather talk to you like maturely, like an adult or whatever. I don't like being combative. Okay. But, like he could have controlled that situation. It wasn't just that. Okay. So Rico was talking one day and he was like, and this was before, any breakup. This was before DC. He said, well, Bless Watkins he was going in on VS, and he was like, Bless Watkins is the purse. And that stuck out to me. Rico said, Bless Watkins is the purse. He was telling VS, you need to go over there and get your so-called woman empowerment together, whatever. And he was like, Bless Watkins is the purse. And so then I saw how, Wiley strategically moved Bless Watkins, like strategically put Bless Watkins over there, because like at one point, like me and Bless both had backed off from supporting Wiley. Like Wiley had started doing some stuff and we had backed off from supporting Wiley. And then Bless, she went back to supporting him again. But Bless, was feeling like pretty much the same way. She was like, Wiley doing too much, she had backed off too. A lot of people was like, what is Wiley doing? And so like basically when we went to so that's where I started seeing how like just like for instance, he does a lot of lives. He'll go on people, like he used to go, like VS really used to be over there more than she was like at over with TSCC, and then more than she would be at TCC. And then it was like even like the interview of the guy from the library, to witness the library situation, bad. Okay, and then even like like it's like a lot of things became about Wiley, and then we were losing focus, first of all, what we were doing within the team. Okay, but and so I could tell that he was doing it intentionally. Like it's like he'll come in there, and after VS goes, I'm going live, so I could see where he was gaining. I could see, I saw what he was doing. I mean, it's like I saw what he was doing. Then from time to time, he'll act like he was playing, but he'll be throwing VS under the bus. Like he used to throw her under the bus a lot, before, but people weren't catching on to it. I was, because I was critically listening. And I used to tell her, I mean, he's throwing you under the bus, and then he'll come back and act like he's playing or whatever. But basically, like he was like, and like he could have been come out and told people that, like VS didn't have a lot to do with a lot of the things that he was doing, but he didn't do it. And a real friend probably would have did that, especially when he hearing people accuse her of these things. Okay, so at any rate, so like that's when I, concluded. I was like, I sat back, I observed, and I saw where, it was like he was trying to take over TSCC. He was trying to strategically get all of the TSCC members over on his platform. Then he was going to do what he's already done now, but this was before it happened. He was going to, throw a loop in the hole and run some kind of, whatever to get VS out the way. And he would have already had the TSC members, the TSC pot of gold, the TSCC, everything all sitting over there with him. So I saw that. So when we get to now let me tell you, when I went to DC, I went to like, okay, first of all, I had, been caregiving for a long time. I hadn't had a break. I needed a break because I was trying to make major decisions and I just needed, to clear my head. That's why I decided to take a 2-day train ride back and forth. I was in no rush. Like I was going to maximize my time away, because I needed that break. So I needed that time. Like I even told VS, I was like, look, I don't mind taking 2 way, because I could have drove to New Orleans, caught the plane, boom. Because we do have an airport here, but it's just much more expensive. So I could have drove to New Orleans and, took the plane well, but that added additional stress. And, it was just like, I'm not in a rush. I got to leave early. And then, like I had already planned, regardless if VS, like was kicking it with me or not, I had already planned to stay additional. I had money, for Uber to do. I had, I like to drift around. I like to do things. So it's not like, I, was going, like was I setting up time or whatever just to obligate towards VS. I was on vacation. That was my clear my mind, clear my head time to joy. So that's the frame of thinking that I was going to DC. I was on vacation. So while I'm on vacation, I'm in a vacation form of thinking. What I said to myself was, I said I was prepared for whatever, but I was just like, whatever happens, I'm going to make the best out of this, and I'm not going to, like whatever happens, I'm going to make, that's why like how my hotel discount thing came in, because I was going to get like my own hotel anyway, you know. So, like that's how my hotel discount thing came into part. Okay. So it's like, so I was in that frame of mind. Okay. So I already knew that Wiley was coming. I already knew we were going to meet up with Wiley and everything and meet up, with Wiley and everything. So at any rate, like the day that they were in the casino or whatever. I mean, where yeah, we were at the casino. And Rico and VS were live, and Rico was talking about coming up there and everything. I instantly I was sitting there where everybody else looking at it. And I instantly started getting upset. And then I told myself, I said, wait a minute, hold up. I ain't come here for that. So I got up and I got up, turned the phone off, put it in my pocket, and I went outside and started enjoying the scenery. Because I was like, I'm here to enjoy myself. I'm here for peace. I'm here for relaxation. Let them do their live stream. I'll be right outside enjoying myself. Okay. So, other than that, it was not any, so like beforehand, before we actually went to meet up with Wiley and all of that, I had already sort of prepared, like the other people on the team. I was like, I feel like Wiley wants to, tear apart TSCC. And the reason why I was telling them that is because of the simple fact that I want to avoid it at all costs, because you want a beautiful experience. So you don't want anybody, I would rather y'all be prepared, or, whatever happened, I'd rather you be 2 steps ahead of it than, you not know where it's coming from and what has happened. So, pretty much I was like, I feel like why is, trying to, tear apart, TSCC, let's just, make it happen. Let's just do the best that we can or whatever to make it happen. So pretty much, to be honest with you, like the casino night, after, whatever little debacle, whatever, everything went back smoothly or whatever. It was just fine. We dropped them off. Okay. So anyways, the next day, and oh yeah, with the sexual thing, okay, VS had called me one morning and she was like, talking about having a baby or something. Why? I joked, I laughed, I thought it was funny. I didn't even really take it serious. Just like I didn't have any idea about me supposed to propose when I got to DC. I didn't have any idea about that until I was on camera, and I just played it off. I was just like, oh, well, that's something, we'll have to do together, whatever. I just played it off or whatever. Okay. Played it off or whatever. But, everything pretty well went pretty good, in DC. So, after we got back from DC or whatever, Wiley was whatever. My problem with Wiley, just like a lot of people think, like when I brought up the fact that, I said, I'm gonna tell y'all something I never said or told nobody before, because it took me a minute to figure out what had happened, what went wrong, or what it was. I got, when I said that, what VS did trigger me, it wasn't to bring out anything about VS. It wasn't for sympathy. It wasn't, to say anything, because anything can trigger somebody. Let me put it that way. Like the smell of a person can trigger somebody. Anything can trigger somebody. But when I said that, it wasn't for the point of like, VS or sympathy or anything that these people around here saying. It was to say that, it was to show that it's one thing. Because I've been quiet. I've been over here covering my own content. After that happened, I came over here and covered my own content. I wasn't responding to anything or anything of that nature. But it's sad when you have to go from chat to chat and things, and people are bringing up this stuff. Like, how comfortable would you feel if somebody was sitting there talking about you being on your period or period panties? All of these derogatory things, just like I was in A Escaper today. And I'm like, everybody contributes. Because first of all, it's not true. The only reason why the period came in the well, it was like, because VS had already put out there, that she gave me oral. Okay. So I was trying to point out the fact that I wasn't on my period. So I said, so what you're saying is that you went down on me while I was on my period. And so everybody was supposed to think, and even her was supposed to think and say no, but she didn't do that. Okay. But I mean, I was thinking that when people with common sense would think about the fact that, like, no, that didn't happen. I wasn't on my period. And I have even said multiple times that I wasn't on my period. But here's the point. How do you think it feels for me being a grown woman going around hearing me, hearing, like Aunt April did it on Jay Wilson's chat one time. It's like people get mad at VS. They want to say something bad about VS, and the first thing they do is they go to that. But that's like, you go to that. But that's like towards me. Just like I think Deanna, what is that her name? Yeah, Deanna Irvin or whatever. She did that. And see, like, okay, for them being women, it's not so bad. But for me, because of what I've gone through, it doesn't feel the same for a man to be talking about I don't wear panties, first of all. But for a man to be talking under my clothes, talking about panties, wearing underwear on his head, talking about my period, talking about blood, it doesn't feel so comfortable to me. And he's been doing this for months, and I have not said anything. He's been over there and all kinds of whatever other stuff he wants to say. He's been saying these kind of things for months. But like, this is what I'm asking y'all. How, like, even like without being triggered, without have been molested, without, feeling like because he's a man, it feels even ickier or more violating or more like, like somebody's raping you or, more. That's how it feels. That's how it feels when he does that to me because of what I've went through. It might not feel like that to you, but I mean, even as a woman, I don't think no regular woman should feel comfortable with that. Like, I mean, there has been times when that has been brought up by women or, out in public, and it's not a comfortable thing. So that's disrespectful. That's my point. And then it does not feel so good to me. And then it feels even differently to me to the point where it's like, I'm ready to fight back. And I told him and I asked him to stop. But it's gotten even worse. Because I posted a screenshot. Because like I told y'all, like, I don't know where I was. I on one of these lives, I was over in BB Nice's chat. And I shared her live, and here come Wiley. And he starts talking about his pain. Started talking about him having sex with lesbian couples. Okay, so I shared a live because y'all know most of the people who follow me and stuff know that I'm, trying to, get people up on the Black American Indian history. Okay, so I'm working on trying to bring somebody on, a chief warhorse. And she was doing an interview in a different community. So I posted some of her previous interviews and I posted the live because I want y'all to sort of have a feel of who she is when I do bring her on. Okay, so I'm over there and it's on my community page. I'm over there and guess who rolls through? But what he didn't know was he was in the wrong neighborhood. Well, he figured that out. Because he ain't cut up. He knew. He looked at them names. He listened to the tone. He know better. He knew better. And he got on up out of there. But the thing is, that's harassment and that is stalking. Like I said, he's been over there for months. Blah, blah, blah. My name all in the title. Have you just like even when he said that DC Gate was playing clicking a view. Imagine how that made me feel. Because I ain't get no money. I ain't get paid for it. I'm still being used as content and not getting any money and not getting paid for it. I'm a copyright. My name is automatically a copyright. That is stealing. And that's disrespectful. And then it's now I could have went over there and struck the stunk out of his page plenty of times. But I don't really believe in doing it. But I asked him to stop and he didn't. So guess what? That's why I said I have post-traumatic stress disorder. Keep on. And it's not going to be my fault because I have asked you to stop. Over and over again. And then what's so sad is people out there, because it's not them, just like it's not them that he lying about having sex with. So, everybody think it's funny. But are y'all looking at how it makes the people that he's lying on feel? Are y'all looking at how it makes the people that he's doing this to feel? And everybody over there acting like he's talented. Now, let me tell you something. The difference with him and VS, y'all demonetize her. Y'all act like, just like people want me to go, like, it's almost like they want me to just go jump down her throat. Soon as I bring up Wiley, well, you ain't do this. First of all, me and VS have a whole different type of relationship than Wiley. We developed something different from Wiley. I know her in a whole different way from Wiley. Then she's a woman. That's the first thing. And then number two, it's just like this. You bring up why he's talented. Oh, he didn't talk so much. But what you're doing is you're condoning his bad behavior. And y'all know how bad his bad behavior will go. The library. Go look for the Armand Wiggins conversation. Then Armand them had brought up a thing. And then why you think his family don't want him there? So y'all are condoning because y'all think it's funny. Because it's not you. It's not your feelings. But he's wrong. Just like with Rico. He's diverting or deflecting from the fact that he used Rico. Oh, it's not Rico's fault. We all saw the live streams where Rico was up there and Wiley was acting all lovey-dovey before DC. Then after he got what he wanted in DC, it was almost time to go. Now he got problems. And then because Rico over there expressing his feelings, oh, he over there drunk. But Wiley drinks and he's on mental health psych meds. So what's the difference? And y'all go, yeah, he shouldn't be drinking. Wiley shouldn't be drinking either. Wiley shouldn't be acting like that either. Wiley should be held accountable for his bad behavior. And you all consistently over and over and over again excuse it. And let me tell you something. I'm still trying to help Wiley. Because you can't help somebody if you keep on condoning their bad behavior. You have to let them know that what they're doing is wrong. Okay? I'm still trying to help them. More than you all. Because sitting up there pumping his head up, gassing him up to continue to do it. And then as soon as he do something else that lands him in jail, what y'all gonna have to say then? It's gonna be your fault because y'all pumped him up. instead of telling him that he was wrong. And see, like I said, I was a supporter. He respected me. Back in the day, I know for a fact, if Wiley know you serious and you tell him Wiley that's wrong, but see, stuff done got so far out of hand, and he running off of these different narratives, all QI jealous or whatever he tried to say, this because of this or this, this because she took my moderate, he took a moderate stick. Then like he running up just like with Rico. Rico, he a drunk and he need help, and I called his family. He's deflecting from what he is doing. And as long as y'all keep doing, you're condoning it. You're gassing them up and you're advocating it instead of telling him what he is doing is wrong. And that what he don't know is, like, when you're in a court situation dealing with mental health, they look at your social media. So Wiley is being watched and they see everything because they want to assess. They bring in, they don't just sit there and just because you say you're going to get some medicine or whatever, they don't sit there and believe you, because a lot of people have always did that. What they do is they bring in the best. And they sit back and they analyze everything. So Wiley doesn't know that he's being watched on YouTube. And it's not hard with Wiley because all his stuff is under his name. So are y'all helping him? Okay. So that's my problem with Wiley. When I ask you to stop, stop. No means no, just like with Miss Beverly. Miss Beverly told him to stop. And he kept on. He was even talking about selling t-shirts. And I was in the chat then. It was me and Apocalypse. And we was like, leave Miss Beverly alone. Stop, Wiley. If the lady say stop, stop. No mean, and I even said no means no. Stop means stop. Then they done went and they and called the police and actually did a report on you. And now you trying to get somebody, you trying to get VS involved and VS in trouble by having her call down there and having to give her name. And guess what he gonna do? If it had hit the fan, guess what he would? Yeah, VS made me do it. I'm scared of her. She's controlling. Just like he did with Rico in terms of the little incident, the sexual incident. That's what he's going to do. I'm scared of her. I have a mental illness. She's taking advantage of me because I have a mental illness. When he chose to do all that stuff on his own, and he's methodical and cunning and scamming and fraudulent enough to even try to figure ways out, just like pleading that he had mental illness. But he got some issues, some emotional issues and some behavioral problems, yes. But he's definitely not bipolar. He's something a lot more severe than bipolar. And he can help himself. While he knows what he's doing, he can help himself. And there's a difference. People with bipolar, it's a chemical imbalance. It hits them like that, boom. They might shift, they might be smiling a few seconds, cuss you out the next, and go back to smiling the next. That's a bipolar person. Like with their extreme ups and extreme downs, they might last 2 weeks or whatever. And it's like they do things like they'll go out and be so happy and spend up all their money and do all kinds of crazy wild stuff. Not violent wild stuff because they're manic, they happy. But like then when they're depressed, they go into like mean or they shell or whatever. They irritate, aggravate. They get aggravated easy. They're irritated very easy. I work in mental health. I know the behavior. I work around people like that all the time. It's a part of my job to know like their symptoms and know when something is not right with them. So I know. All right. So that's the Wiley aspect of it. It don't have nothing to do like with VS and TSCC other than what I saw him trying to do to her, what I saw him, the way that was bad. That was bad. The way he did VS was bad. Okay, so but anyway, let me move on to the next subject. That's Wiley. So it don't have nothing to do like and I get sick of people around here with these crazy narratives and everything. It's like I could sneeze and people gonna say it's because of VS. I'm my own person. That's why I'm over here on my own channel doing my own thing, because like I said before, I'm trying to show you my identity, because while I was over there, it was like y'all didn't get to see me and my identity. So this is me and this is my identity over here. And I'm so sick of everybody like, oh, I do not love abuse. VS is my friend. I still love and care for her. And the thing that y'all don't know is I understand her a lot better than most of y'all. I understand her a lot better than her own self. The difference between me and you is I'm one of these people that will actually help. And then let me tell you how much I know. Because before I started getting help for PTSD, I was the same way. I was in, and then you know what? Technically, what VS did was abusive behavior, but she didn't abuse me. Okay, I never said that she abused me. It was abusive behavior. Now, this type of abusive behavior is happening all over YouTube, and it happens in relationships all the time. And like I said, when I was on the gentleman's panel with Jay Wilson, now. I said the difference is that this happened like that. This happens all the time in relationships. The difference is that this happened in air, live and on air for and in the open public for a lot of people to see. Now, and people been, oh, you need a backbone. Like, one of the reasons why I made that video about Dutch is because he was like, oh, the studs that I know, they would have clap. Well, let me tell you something. You know why? I was in a relationship, the one that I almost married. I thought she had bipolar. Like I said, bipolar is, really nothing. You get used to that and you know how to maintain that and all. But come to find out, she had borderline personality disorder. So she went from 0 to 360 when she got married. All right. So like one day somebody was trying to mess with her brother. So like she had grabbed her gun and had went out there and she was ready. And I'm following behind her like, what you doing? And she was like, if you don't stop following me, moving from behind me, I'm gonna shoot you. So her sister grabbed me, and her sister was like, she telling truth. She telling truth. They were trying to tell me that, it was something wrong, that I had never seen that before, right? And I'm still not looking at it like that because we got a connection, all that. I've never seen that side. It wasn't until I still didn't really believe it. It wasn't until she stopped taking her medication and she stopped going to therapy. And one night she got mad and we were arguing or whatever. And, she picked up a hammer and then she was like, I was in the bed laying down. She was coming towards me with the hammer and I was like, whoop, like this. I was just I'm finna block them blows from my head. All right. Then she realized what she was doing. And then she went and put a big hole in my laptop. I quickly got up and went back I got my stuff and went to my own house. Okay. But, like we communicated and, the only reason we're not together is because she wouldn't agree to continue to go to therapy and counseling and take the medicine. But I worked with her. And to me, and from like, okay, the average black woman out here has been through some type of trauma, some type of abuse, something. Everybody got some type of issue. I think it's a statement. It says everybody has baggage. It's just a matter of whose baggage you're willing to accept. I think that's one of the things that come along. It's a relationship statement or something like that. All right. Well, That's true, especially like when you're looking at black women. Everybody got some type of issues. Ain't nobody coming to the table with no issues from their childhood, no issues from like especially a lot of the women sometimes like we was talking about the bisexual thing. Some women come over to like the lesbian community because they've like been through a lot of abusive relationships, and they're just coming over there, just because they're tired of the abuse, and they're bringing all of that abuse with them. And so you have to know how to deal with that type of woman. You have to know how to deal with that. And if you care about each other, just like I got issues, and if somebody, I expect that somebody, my grandma got issues, my sister got issues. We have to work through each other's issues. Now I'm not saying, and no, by no means was I gonna be no doormat, and no means was I gonna continue to allow her to treat me that way. That's why I'm not over there, because I'm not gonna get treated like that, and then I'm not gonna be in an abusive relationship where I have to get aggressive with you as well in order to make a point. Because at the end of the day, somebody gonna probably end up getting hurt, or it's just not gonna work out. I don't want to be in that kind of relationship. I've had relationships where we didn't have that, where we were able to communicate and have mature conversations. So I understand a lot with VS. And I choose to handle it maturely. I choose to handle it like I believe in God and like the spiritual person that I am, that we're all here to help each other. So like I said, two wrongs don't make a right. And see, another thing is a lot of y'all, because y'all are so mad, because y'all are so upset with VS, like y'all want me to go beat her up. That's what people like. It's like y'all want. It's like, because I'm not giving you the response or the reaction that you want me to give, to VS. It's like people are, oh, you want to go back over there? Oh, you desperate or whatever. Now let me tell you something. I would never, ever be a part of no team or no TSCC thing again. And I would, but I, will be VS's friend. But that's gonna no, because after I've seen too much, and that's just not gonna work. I've seen where that's not gonna work. This was my first time ever doing anything like this online or whatever. But I just know that, like they say, business and pleasure don't mix. And what I'm saying is, like, you never know, down the road she might, come say, like I'm sorry. We talk it out, and we become cool again. We have friends like that. That stuff happens. This is life, real life. Just like, really, to be honest with y'all, a lot of this stuff stem from. Okay, let me point out one thing. I started supporting VS like during the Tanaya Nelson thing. I wasn't always in this sector. I wasn't here doing a lot of that backstory stuff. I came in, and I started supporting her like on account of Tanaya Nelson. And see, a lot of people were fighting VS against Tanaya Nelson. But what made me make my decision about Larry Nelson was this. That's his daughter. And he came and told people his daughter was a stripper, and told people all kinds of bad things about his daughter. I don't care what you and your daughter is going through. A father's job, a father's purpose is to try to find out when something is going on with your daughter, to try to smooth it out, and not online, offline. And I heard her say that all she wanted was apology from him. So that's what made me look at Larry Nelson in that way. Okay, but it really wasn't even about Larry Nelson. The reason why I support her in the first place, because I'm a victim. And because of what I do, like with my job, it's like I tell my story a lot. Okay, and it never fails that every time I tell my story, there's always some woman, some person coming up to me talking about, I too went through that. That's why I advocate. That's why I'm trying to get them to open different counseling programs and group programs specifically designed for people that have went through that sexual abuse. Because the regular stuff ain't gonna work. And it traumatizes you for life. A lot of this stuff triggers you, like with the PTSD. Sometimes, like if your victim yelled at you, if your victim, a lot of times, somebody yell at you, it triggers you and you can't help it. And see, a lot of y'all running around here thinking that, people can help the things that they do. Sometimes no. And so what I mean is, like the other day I said, really, I'm gonna be honest with you, VS is not, a bad person. Yes, she gets angry. Yes, she gets angry, and yes, she will go real far. I'm gonna say that. But like the connection that we had was not like, it wasn't a YouTube thing. It was something a lot deeper. And she, and I know her in a different light. Okay. And so, like, what I'm trying to say is that one of the things I noticed while being over there, and one of the reasons why I was like protective and a lot of different things, is because I noticed that, like, what a lot of people are running around here doing, oh, you demon, you this, you this, you this. You're actually making her that monster. You're responsible for making her that monster. What happened to some compassion? Because everybody talking about, oh, this is because of childhood, because of this. What happened to your compassion? I ain't never seen nobody heal or get healed because somebody continue to beat them up or continue to say bad things about them. But I have seen somebody heal when somebody was being patient with them. I've helped people come to healing. I'm good at what I do, like in mental health, and that's why, because I've been there, done that. And so, like, a lot of times when I'm talking to these people, I feel where they're coming from. I relate to them. And therefore, I know what it is that they need. And a lot of times, like it's just like in a crisis intervention situation. If a person is having a crisis and they're all over the place doing all kinds of crazy things, I also train I train police officers on how to handle people with different, like in mental health crisis. All right. If they're escalated, then, if the police come, ma'am, I'm need you to put your hands on your head, or like, get on the floor. What do you think that's going to make that person do? Do you think that's going to make that person calm down? Or do you think that it's going to send that person more into a rage, more into an episode, and, more into a panic? It's going to send that person more into a panic. So, in order to de-escalate a situation, you have to be calm. You have to watch your tone. And you have to listen intently to hear what it is that's bothering them at that moment that got them to that place. To at least talk them into being willing to go get some help or emergency help. So this is what I'm saying. I'm just saying, just like I'm saying, we're around here hurting each other. We're not looking at, like, it's funny, roasting, gagging, and y'all know that some of these people go too far. But you're not looking, you'll never know what people have been through and why they're like they are. And so, like, like one of these days you might hear about something. We done heard about some scares. We done heard about some scares about people being suicidal. I did a crisis intervention with Rico over the phone while we were in DC on the Wiley show. One lady, it was a white lady that called in, and she was talking about suicide, and I did a crisis intervention with her. It was me, Chipper the Air, and Wiley, and I did a crisis intervention with her. Crisis and toned her down, got her down, de-escalator. No, and see, that's what I get tired of. All of this, like, And just because, like, okay, and like, oh, QI still in love. Yeah, I mean, to me, not in love. What I'm saying is, it's like I loved and cared for VS, and when I say love, I don't mean like I was in love, because we didn't go that long, but I do have some love and I have some care for her. And if you really love and care for a person, it don't go away just because something happened. Like when somebody died, do you stop loving and caring for them? I'm a real person. I'm going to be real. I'm being real now. I've always been real. I came out from the door saying that I still love and care for her. This is not a bashing session. But because I'm on a different level, or because I'm trying to be more righteous and more mature and do things the way that I know that I'm supposed to do, and you might not understand it, doesn't mean that like, it don't mean I'm trying to get back with her or whatever. Just like the texts that I sent, if you read the texts, she read the texts over the line. Nothing said I'm dying to be back with you or anything. I was discussing the lies that was told. I was discussing things with her, and I was doing it the mature way. If you're friends with somebody, or even if you're in business, you don't handle business out in the open. You handle business behind closed doors. You don't let everybody know your business. So my attempt was to do it the right way, to try to communicate with her behind the scenes. Okay, so she said, do it this way. So I'm doing it this way. Now I'm doing it this way. Because it's like people misinterpret so many different things. I'm still friends with every ex that I have. Even the one that put the hammer in my laptop. We're still friends. Sometimes we didn't end up being friends right away. But in most cases, most of the relationships that I've had have been mature relationships where we've been able to talk and communicate, and we decide it's mutual or whatever. So that's the type of person I am. Like, I got to remember, I'm older. It's like certain things that I don't believe in doing, and I don't believe two wrongs make a right. And in certain ways, I don't believe doing things. And, if anything, I believe that you should help, like, you should help. If you can't help a situation, don't hurt a situation. Now, I know a lot of people, like, and then what's so sad about it, it's sad to see so many immature people running around here on the YouTube streets with children. Because if you don't understand what I'm saying, if you don't understand how I'm having to handle this, like, just like with the Wiley situation, I have to pray. And that's why I've told him to stop. That's why I came on here and I used the analogy, and I told, like, what he makes me feel when he says that, when he says those things. Because all I want him to do is stop. So if you want the whatever to stop between me and Wiley, or Wiley, if you're listening and you want to stop things between me and you, stop stalking me and stop talking about me. Stop doing that. That's all he has to do. Point blank simple. And then I will have no problem. I will have no problem. That's all I wanted to do is stop. And then likewise, if you're one of these people around here and this stuff ain't true, stop repeating it. You wouldn't want nobody to be talking about your, like, first of all, I wasn't on my period. Like, I'm not even, like, I don't know, like, the day or whatever, what they might have saw, her and Bayless or whatever, when she said she saw something on my pants or whatever. All I know is that I did have a bunch of white stuff, and I had a pair of a red underwear that the dye and stuff bled on some of that stuff. That's why I was so happy. They were teasing me when I was there, because I was so happy, that they had a laundromat, because I could wash that stuff. But I mean, like, just y'all gotta sometimes put yourselves in other people's positions. Would you want somebody to treat your child that way? Would you want somebody to treat you that way? So don't, like, some of this stuff is not funny, and you have to tell these people that it's wrong. And a lot of people think just because I was over there, like I said, most of me and VS's correspondence didn't have nothing to do with YouTube. It was about other things, okay? And anything, like a lot of times when we went on live, when she went live, I was just as surprised as everybody else. What she chose to talk about, I was just as surprised as everybody else. If just like when Wiley lied on ZT, to my knowledge, she, like, Wiley sent her a video and she looked at it and she said it looked like them. So I believed it. Just like a lot of people believe, like, just like if you support this person, you believe what this person say. If you support this person, you believe what this person say. Same thing with me. I believed what she said. I had no other reason not to. But a lot, when I saw her do something wrong, or when I saw something that I didn't agree with, it, trust me, we used to talk about that all the time. Just like with the Wiley situation. We used to talk about that. So I can't make her do something, and I can't make her stop doing anything. But you can best believe during the time that I was over there, guess what? She wasn't doxing anybody. We were about women empowerment. We were the only little thing we had was the Sean Bradley situation, and we basically knew, where that stemmed from. Him allowing them people to get up there and say all of that triggering stuff, all of that derogatory stuff over the phone line about VS. That's where that started from. Okay, and then and the hate team. And if y'all haven't noticed, this same hate team go from place to place. They go over here, they go over here. It's all about hating on VS. And see, the thing that I realized about a lot of y'all is a lot of y'all are new and y'all don't know the backstory, and then y'all haven't been critical and looked at the backstory. A lot of times VS did not necessarily instigate or start the situations. A lot of times what she was doing was clap back, but her clap back was ugly. That's the thing. Her clap back was ugly. And so everybody, ugh, but they act like she did it by herself. And then at this point, a lot of this stuff happened 2 years ago. When are people gonna learn how to be cordial? When are people gonna learn how to agree to disagree? Like they say, let's agree to disagree. Like, you don't have to be friends, you don't have to talk to each other, but you don't have to keep this stuff going every day. It happened 2 years ago. When we gonna learn how to resolve our issues? Because it's cycling and cycling and cycling and cycling and cycling. Getting worse and worse and worse. And then a lot of y'all don't even know what really happened. A lot of y'all only know one side of the story. A lot of y'all only know lies. Just like I realized today, or realized by looking at y'all. Y'all around here repeating this. Y'all just regurgitating what other people have told you, not even thinking, just saying it. Not even thinking about whether it's true or not, just saying it, just running all around. Like a lot of this stuff, y'all hear somebody else say, you repeat it instead of looking at the situation and trying to assess it and see it for what it is. And then a lot of us, and I'm gonna say us, a lot of us are just as guilty. We all guilty. We all wrong. We all have participated. Because if you sit there and laugh and think it's funny when it's in somebody else's shoes, because I did it. Well, I believe, like I had no other reason with the DT situation. Then Wiley came out himself and said, oh, well, I lied. And he could at least said, well, I made VS believe or manipulated her into believing this. But once again, he didn't clear her. He left her out there hanging. And he's done this over and over again. And then it's not like this is just a YouTube thing for him. This dude, his family don't want to deal with him. He keeps wanting to go home and they're telling him not to come. He said on one of his live streams that he was destroyed, like the one with the interview that they played on Armand, or what's his King of Pain, where he admitted that he was jealous of Armand. All of this is because he's jealous of Armand. He really loves Armand, but he's jealous and he's been over there trying to sabotage him. That's what he does, and that's not good behavior. It's not good to get jealous. It's like, make yourself better. Don't, like pulling somebody down is not going to make you bring you up. I don't know where that mentality comes from, but that's the mentality you have. Pulling somebody down. And a lot of people in this sector have have that mentality where if you pull somebody down, it's going to bring you up. No, it's enough room here for everybody. In fact, this sector could grow because this sector to have millions of people in it. But like the decent people are not going to come over here and stay after they see this foolishness. This sector could grow if we start doing things differently and better. But there's a cap in this sector, and half of them are troll pages. It's probably a 20,000. I don't even know if it's 10,000. I don't even know, because like most of the older veterans, their people still are from other sectors. Like James Quad, where some of his people still from older sectors or whatever. But like in terms of the newer people, it seems like it's like a 11,000, 10,000 cap. If you want to grow anything, anytime, anything bigger than that, then you're going to have to get outside of this sector. It's as simple as that. But, you're only going to, there's a cap, there's a ceiling. You're only going to get so big in this sector because not everybody is with this or with this type of stuff. I'm not even with it. I'm in the wrong sector, and I know for sure. And I am trying my best to work my way out. I see some of Wiley people up in here. And that's the thing. Nah, I ain't gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. Well, yes, let me say it. Yeah, most of the people who support people who do things like Wiley, they're either miserable people who want to make other people miserable like Wiley, or they're either people that have mental illness or mental health issues like Wiley. Because other than that, you can clearly see that the stuff that Wiley's doing is wrong, and he goes too far, and it's too much, and it's damaging people's personal lives. It's getting into their careers. It's going over. This is not a YouTube thing. I mean, yes, and he's not the only one. But I mean, he's the worst one. He's the worst one. He is. Like, if you look at it for what it is, he's the worst one, because like between the Armand, between like the DC Gate stuff that's still happening, between how he contacted King Jives and got all that mess started with San Antonio and the Memorial Day or Labor Day event, how like everywhere drama follows Wiley, and he thinks it's funny. Y'all think it's funny. Y'all encourage him to do it. People can't even meet up for a click and a view. Selling out, being an Uncle Tom for a click and a view. Don't care who you hurt for a click and a view. What will you not do for a click and a view? That's the question. What will you not do for a click and a view? Integrity. But I think I pretty much covered everything. I'm not sure. I think I pretty much covered everything here. Let me look through my notes. But like, yeah, y'all like, and y'all around here like, 1 minute you say you're not a therapist or what you call, but the next minute y'all all up in other people's business. See, that's another thing. Like people, like what happened with VS and me, it's between me and VS. But so many people act like they have. If VS lets you in, go over there and you let her let you in. But over here with me, in terms of bringing up my name and talk about me specifically, I don't believe in letting people into my business, and I'm not giving anyone. And I'm not giving anyone any permission to disrespect me. I'm not giving anyone any permission to continue to be using me as no crazy content. Y'all got me wrong. That's what I'm saying. It's like because I handle things a certain way with her, a lot of people think they have permission to do that with me as well. No. You handle things differently with people that you know versus people you don't know. Simple as that. And that's common sense. And all you crazy people around here still repeating the same thing, y'all need to go get some help. And believe in everything that somebody tell you and running with all these crazy narratives and stuff, y'all need to go get some help. You need, yeah, you know, you're miserable and you want to see somebody else is miserable. I'm happy. I'm content. In fact, let me tell y'all this. I'm not desperate. I ain't never had to be desperate. I never had to hit on a woman before. Most of the women that I've been with have been drop dead gorgeous. I mean, VS is she's beautiful herself. But I'm saying like there's like I don't see any reason why y'all feel like I look at VS like the end all to be all. I am the type of person I'm content with within a relationship or out of a relationship. In fact, I'm gonna tell you, I'm more content a lot of times out of a relationship because I get to do what I want to do. I'm free. I don't have all that additional stress because anybody with common sense, anybody that's been in a successful relationship or anybody that's been in any type of relationship knows that a relationship comes with work. And you first got to love yourself before you can love anybody else. So if you're not content with being by yourself, if you're not then that means you don't love yourself, and that means that like it's of course it's not going to work out in a relationship because you got to first like when people say they're lonely and different things like that, you know it's deep. It's I don't like I mixing it right now, you explaining it right now, but like those are feelings when you feel lonely, when people feel lonely and all this different stuff, that's feelings of inadequacy. That's feelings that something is missing in you. Something is missing. Because there's plenty of people out here. There's plenty of people out here to love. And I don't mean just like one type of love. I mean like friendship. I mean, it's plenty of people to love. Just like y'all not looking at how like I'm with my grandmother and it takes patience and I have to, it's the same thing. So what am I supposed to do? My grandma have bad behavior, or my grandma do this, or because I'm here with my grandmother, whatever. Is it the same way? It's just the type of person that I am. I'm not like I get upset with my family because I'm carrying a lot of burden here. But do you think I'm throwing my family away? Do you think I'm if that's the case, if you do that, or if you look at things like if you look at things in a certain way, you'll never like some of y'all need to go and rekindle the relationships with y'all parents. Some of the people need to go learn how to rekindle the relationships with your mothers. That's y'all problem. Somebody got to, and then even if they don't know any better, somebody got to be the bigger person to teach somebody. Like we be talking about the generational gaps and the generational curses and things. This is what we're talking about. The stuff that we're displaying here on YouTube is real life. It surfaces off of real life. These same people with these same attitudes are the same people, just like Wiley. It's his house, his home, his family, his community, his church. He was destroying them people. So this just not a YouTube. It ain't no YouTube thing for him. This is something that goes off of YouTube. And like with most of y'all, this is something that goes off of YouTube. This is something, like y'all really need to assess and look at yourselves and look at like how is it that you're sitting here and you actually to the point where you want to hurt or hate on somebody on YouTube. I don't. Why it gets on my nerves. And like yes, sometimes I want to strangle him, but I don't hate him. I don't hate Wiley. And if Wiley calmed down and came to me and talked to me like he had some sense, I would even help him. I would even talk to him. And he knows that because he's seen it before. Wiley knows, like he knows what type of person that I am. But he also knows what type of what I'm not gonna tolerate, and he know exactly why I'm not tolerating what and why I'm acting why I'm like I am right now. But he's one of these revengeful. He has a revengeful. He got a crazy like a jealous streak, a hateful streak, or whatever. Where he wants to destroy everything. I want to see Wiley go get some help. I don't hate him. And if he came and apologized and act right, I mean, I'd never, do a lot of the things I used to do because, like, I used to support Wiley, but I would be cordial to him. Now, that's not silly. That's past beyond silly because, like I said, it's funny to y'all, but it's not funny to the people that he's doing it to. And then at the same time, Wiley preys on people. He like most Scorpios. Let me tell you the truth. Most Scorpios prey on people. Most Scorpios know how to find your weaknesses, find your insecurities, and they prey on your insecurities and your weakness. Look it up. I'm not lying. Look it up. Anybody know about astrology? Look it up. That's a Scorpio trait. That him and VS are both Scorpios, and they got similar characteristics. A lot of this is the Scorpio. It's like it's a lot of things mixed, but like it's definitely that Scorpio. I read today, or found out today that like everybody got a little Scorpio, everybody got a little Libra. There's certain signs that everybody got a little bit of us in, because you're like you got a sun, a rising, and you got a I can't even think of it right now because I'm think of it right now, but like we're not just one thing. You're like different things depending on like the position of all the planets in the sun and stuff, like when you were born. But at any rate, I think I'm done talking or whatever, but it's just like I'm sick of people. Like, if I have not disrespected you, don't disrespect me. And don't like, and if you don't like, if you never had a conversation with me, don't feel like you could come up and say any kind of crazy thing to me. Because I know if we were in real life, a lot of y'all will find out real quick. I'm gonna tell you, because that's not how I am at all. I don't play the disrespect game. I don't play that with no race, nobody. So like I'm just telling y'all, a lot of y'all stepping over boundaries and stuff. A lot of y'all, y'all violating. Y'all violating. Because you think just because you see something on TV that, like it, is real and that's how you're supposed to act. No, you need to learn how to respect other people and respect your boundaries. But like I said, I think I've covered everything. I don't like talking like this. I'm ready to get back to the regular scheduled program. I'm just tired of I'm like just tired of, like, for one thing, Wiley following me around for all of these different live streams from chat to chat harassing me. That's not funny. In real life, that's stalking. In real life, that's stalking. Ain't nothing silly and funny about that. Following me from place to place. How do you think I feel, especially with PTSD and being triggered? And so that little button gonna click in me one day, I'm gonna be headed to Dallas. And it's not gonna be my fault. But I'm trying not to get there. That's why I said tell them stop. You stop. Stop, Wiley. Down, boy, down. Good boy. But anyways, thank y'all for coming through. Thank all of those who understand where I'm coming from. And I'm like, and here's one more thing. People think I don't know why people think I'm supposed to, everybody else, they really, they beef back and forth. Okay. But the minute I say something, oh, you're in love with VS, oh, this, that, and other, oh, it's jealous, all this, it's all these kind of narratives when I've sat over here and been quiet for months, minding my own business. So I'm like, do people expect me to be quiet and just take mistreatment? No. Okay, you want to say something about the mistreatment that VS did, but then I'm supposed to sit down and just take the mistreatment that Wiley does? What kind of sense does that make? What kind of sense is that making? But that's what y'all do. Y'all have double standards. It's not okay for VS to do it, but it's funny and it's silly when Wiley does it. And Wiley's saying a lot of the same things and doing a lot of the same things. The hypocrisy. And then the fact is, he wasn't there. He don't know. I wasn't close to him like that. It's a whole different dynamic. He's just taking it up, and that's what, like, everything is, like, no, we, like, okay, for one thing, this sector is ruined. Anytime, like, no, in no other sector do they, I seen one guy and they ripped him apart, but in no other sector do they do that kind of stuff. Do they speak on people consistently like that, or do they steal people's content, or do they, use people for clicks and views? Like in most other sectors or whatever, it's like people have a purpose behind what they're doing. And even when they beef, like, or even when, it's like they still know how to be cordial with one another. They learn how to be cordial with one another, where they're not going in chats. And then even in other sectors, there's not this thing that you can't be over here. You can't be, because, like, let me tell you, y'all made me, like, people, oh, you were TSCC. Not necessarily. When I first, like, the whole thing started with that Gina situation. And it's like, after I got up there and, on the phone or something, and I spoke out about Gina, people pushed me up. People was like, you TSCC, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, and just because I was supporting VS. I didn't sign no application. I didn't sign no document to become TSCC. But it's just like, once you support VS or whatever, it's like I have such a problem with VS having supporters of VS, and to the point where, but it's not like that too much with anybody else. It's like, now, like, she had got to the point where you can't be in this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. But like that initially started, if you, like, was supportive VS, or you was over there with TSCC. What are you doing over there? They're using you. This, that, and the other. Then you couldn't even no longer go into nobody else's chat or anything without, same thing that they do here, same thing. It's the same thing. You can't go, oh, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what I'm saying. I would like to be able to go in somebody's chat. I would like to be able to go somewhere and not have VS brought up. I would like to be able to say something without people saying that it's about VS, or without people trying to make the narrative spin around that it's about VS. I would like to be able to be myself. Hey, Kathy G. Hey, everybody who came in the chat. I haven't been reading the chat. I'm sorry. There's no such thing as you, like, okay, you could be, like, just because you're somebody's friend, just because you're something, does not mean that you condone, and does not mean you do the same things that they do. If that's the case, everybody around here is bad. Do y'all not get it? Everybody done some bad. Some might be a little bit bad, worse than the others, but everybody done it. In one way or the other. Said something you didn't have nothing, no business saying. Woke up and realized you was supporting somebody that wasn't right. Now, I ain't talking about, like, I'm just saying, I done seen that happen a lot. Let me clarify that, because they'll be, oh, she said this. No, but I'm just saying, everybody, like, it's this, like, we all got stuff going on, and it's like, When we learn how to get along, we could all be successful, and this sector will grow. And then because you ain't got to fight us enough viewers on YouTube for everybody. You bring some more in here, but people ain't gonna want to come in here and stay when you got all this stuff going on. Like, I know people outside this sector, and I'm the few that I have brought over here. They like, what the heck? They like, what the heck? So, anyways, I'm done. I think I said everything, but I just like to say peace, love, and hair grease. I'm gonna play this little music, and I'm gonna go on, get on off here, and hopefully I'm gonna go live tomorrow because I do have some other content. I want to do a part 2 of the showing like a lot of the visuals and stuff of the Black American Indian history that I have. Somebody asked me to do a part 2, and I think I want to do that tomorrow. So I'm gonna try to go live, and bring a lot of the pictures of the artifacts and different things that I have of Mayans, Black American Indians, Aztecs, Incas, and things of that nature. I want to get back on track, so hopefully I'll do that tomorrow. And let's get some music, get our vibe right before we get out of here. And like I said, peace, love, and hair grease. Thank y'all for supporting, and leave me alone, Wiley. Y'all leave me alone now. If I Y'all learn how to respect people. Learn how to respect other people, especially when they're not disrespecting you. That's all I'm saying. If somebody ain't disrespecting you, you shouldn't have no reason to disrespecting them. And so here we go. Peace. Oh, let me just say this. For y'all who doing this to think y'all gonna bully me or get me to go somewhere, I ain't going no dang on where. If like like I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm still gonna come on here and I'll go back into egg mode, okay? But I just, wanted to address it. I want to get my piece out. I know how to ignore people. I know how to, like I said, I'm trying to get out of these analytics. So and get into like something more designed for my type of content. So like if that's what y'all thinking, y'all kick rocks, because it's not gonna happen. I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna be here 2 years from now if YouTube and God allows. You know what I'm saying? So get out of here with that. And here we go.